I think the other interesting part was when they show Bianca and Naomi.
This was very interesting.
Yeah, so they show Bianca and Naomi kind of backstage in the locker room area watching this interview, and Naomi says that she kind of feels for Bayley, and Bianca wants none of it. She's like, "Girl,
Girl.
do you know who
I
you're
love when she does
do
that.
you know who you're talking about? Like, have you not been paying attention?" And Naomi says, "Well, I know what it's like when you're in a group, you've got your girls and things just like turn left and it just ends up, I don't know, going badly."
Going the other way. Yeah.
Yeah. And Bianca is like, "Okay, well, I get what you're saying, but you weren't here when she was doing all this stuff. Like, hello, I was their number one target for what, a year or
It
two of
was
their
Damage Control versus Bianca.
yeah,
That
for
was
like
it.
2 years, and it was like, okay, we get it, we're done." But Naomi is just like, you know what, I don't know, I just feel for her, whatever. Bianca's just not
Yeah.
interested. But this is why you thought one reason why this is interesting is because now Bayley's by herself against Damage Control. So it's like, okay, were they kind of teasing Naomi and Bianca, helping her out? Are they going to tease maybe we see Damage Control versus Naomi and Bianca for the tag team titles? Like, what is this going to be? Because it feels like we were saying when we were talking about SmackDown being kind of behind Raw in regard to Mania plans, there's no way Bianca's not going to be on the card. So,
No, you can't. No.
yeah. So trying to think about how she might be in a match, it feels like I really would not be surprised if it was in a tag team capacity. And then this is their way of going after Damage Control without completely siding with Bayley, because I don't see Bianca doing that. I mean, she could, but it seems kind of to go against like
it seems like if Bianca helps Bayley, it would be not because she is sticking up for Bayley, but she's trying to take out a common evil.
yes.
And that you can let bygones be bygones and work together with. And one thing that I'm noticing with this, actually, comparing it to, the Cody Vengers taking on the Bloodline, it seems like that's the theme for this year, for this year's Mania, is that it's taking out the bad to get to the good. I mean, we're going to talk about the Bloodline anyways, but sticking with this, Damage Control was the women's faction that ran all over WWE, just like the Bloodline did for an entire year. And they made a lot of enemies. And during that time, Bayley was the goody two shoes, but then turned into this, evil, me, selfish person. Now, what I loved about this whole segment and, the lead up to Mania and stuff is that you have Bayley showing a human side, being like, listen, I wanted to get to the top, so I did everything that I could. And if it meant forming Damage Control and doing everything in our power to get what we want, then yeah, that's it. And I thought that they were on my side and they kicked me out, and now I'm alone and I have to pay for what is coming to me. And it's a quote like that I have to get what's coming to me that really humanizes Bayley and does more than just tease an eventual babyface turn. But now it gets Naomi involved, and Naomi's like, "Oh, like, girl, I know you were evil and all this stuff," because Naomi was still with the company when she was a heel. But Naomi also knows the
Yeah.
hugger, the whole Bayley buddies, all that girl. Bianca knows about that, but because Bianca was the target of Damage Control for a majority of that time, she does not care. So she can't
Yeah.
see that. You can't look past that. And that's a great little buildup for Mania and for this match, because Bayley can't win on her own. She's not going to win on her own. I'll tell you right now, because Damage Control is going to be at ringside or they're going to interfere. So she needs help. And maybe Bianca doesn't like help. Naomi, I think absolutely will. But Bianca, like, fine. And then boom. You know what I
Well,
mean?
I think an easy way to do it is kind of how they went about it with the Bloodline, where they were trying to chip away at the Bloodline from the bottom to get their way to the top. So an easy way would be the Kabuki Warriors versus Bianca and Naomi for the tag titles, probably have Bianca and Naomi take the tag title. So that's like taking one peg out, you know, kind of like what they did with the Usos losing at Mania last year. It was like taking them out and all hell broke loose after that, obviously.
Mhm.
So that could almost be their way of helping too, because it is a common enemy, because most of Bayley's anger is going to be at Asuka and Kyrie, because they were the reason for the most part Damage Control imploded and they all
Mhm.
turned on her, or at least that's what it looks like.
It
So
is,
if you
yeah.
take their tag titles away, Bayley then goes for the women's title against Io. Obviously, we assume she's going to win. Then what does Damage Control have? All of that gold and all of that winning and all of that success that they claim to have, they wouldn't have it anymore. And by the time Bayley went against the, or I'm sorry, by the time Bianca and no, wait, yes, by the time Bayley went against Io, they would
Mhm.
already be weaker because the tag titles were gone. To me, it feels like that's the easiest way to get Bianca involved without it being super complicated,
Mhm.
because I still feel like we might see Dakota flip on Damage Control to help
Well,
to be
someone
with.
said that.
Oh,
Where? Let
okay.
me go find it. That was a look at you, Sarah, look at that. I can't find it, but yeah, keep talking. I'll find it.
Yeah, I think that it's possible that this is kind of going to be a situation where you know, I feel like The Rock is going to turn on Roman at Mania. I wouldn't be
Oh, yeah.
surprised if that's kind of similar to what is happening with Dakota and Bayley. Not
Yeah, it is.
necessarily,
Old
yeah.
man mob. Yeah, it is.
Um, not necessarily that Bayley knows about it the way that I want to believe that Cody knows about The Rock kind of being a plant.
Yeah.
But I
Oh,
feel like that's an interesting way to go about it too, because then Bayley's not by herself. You know what I mean? Like we can't have her by herself against all of Damage Control forever. So